When I was young, I used to be envious of a boy named Salai. And that's because Salai was able to call Leonardo da Vinci dad. And he was adopted as Leonardo's son when he was 10 years old and shared more than 25 years with Leonardo. It's interesting to know that I met Leonardo when I was 10 years old as well, on a hot summer evening of 1972, watching the TV dedicated to Leonardo's life. I was glued to the TV and fascinated. And I knew that because I didn't have a good relationship with my own father, who was rather distant and cold, and sometimes abusive. So I was entertaining this thought of becoming Leonardo's son, just like Salai. So the relationship and journey with Leonardo began. Leonardo used to write many things in his notebooks, but this one is my favorite. This posed a problem for a boy of a 10-year-old. What did he mean by universal, or to be universal? To be able to do everything, or to know everything? It didn't matter. To me, at that time, it sounded impossible. So I kept doing my drawing and painting, which I was doing, and thought to myself, one day I will master something, one field in my lifetime. This is a watercolor rendition of my boyhood painting, a copy of The Last Supper. And by this time, following year, The Last Supper became the most dearest painting or artwork for me in the world throughout history. This is the best one for me. I thought to myself and promised Leonardo that someday I will find a perfect wall to be able to do my version of The Last Supper based on his composition. I also feel lucky to be alive because you may already know that The Last Supper, the original, has been restored correctly, properly cleaned. The reason why I'm saying this is that in the past, some unknown painters were hired and they just painted over in the name of restoration to vivify the color. So over the years, so many paints were added, and by the beginning of 20th century, only 25% of original was shown. So I'm so glad to be able to see what Leonardo did, however dim and fade out it may be. And I'm also so happy to know that this painting survived the bombing during the World War II, because where the painting is, the Church of Santa Maria delle Grazie got direct hit by the bomb. The ceiling collapsed and the large wall collapsed. But because of the effort of the people in Milan, two walls, Leonardo's Last Supper and the facing wall of the crucifix, were saved. And I would like to thank each one of them who participated in saving these walls. In 1995, it happened to be the 5th centennial year of the beginning of the Last Supper. My father died. I know it's a death story. But I wasn't able to feel anything. If you remember, I didn't have a good relationship and we were distant. So I just kept on going. And that was the same year I was hired at the local Waldorf high school here in Boulder. And this may sound really strange or weird or odd to you, but I just fell in love with this gorgeous white wall, a classroom wall, that is. And the wall was calling me to do the Last Supper. So I started this project, in December of 1995. And I spent 2,000 hours, non-paid hours, giving up my holidays, weekends, vacation times, and I was facing the wall. It was worth it. Except that in those days, the necessary information gathering was difficult. There's no Google, there's no Wikipedia. So, I did my best. In average, I was facing the wall from 5 or 6 in the morning till 2 a.m. Not 2 in the afternoon, 2 a.m. in the night. I only took the break when it was absolutely necessary. And luckily, by the end of August following year, 1996, just in time for the new school year, I was able to finish the central portion of the painting. This became this. It is still there, and I am really happy and honored to know that. And I hope he likes it. Now I can show you the detail work. The bottom one shows a little change I made, because one day my Jewish colleague came to me and said, well, this is Seder. So I added some modern Seder elements so you can see the celery, which I'm sure they didn't have it back then. But so what, You need humor in this intense situation in a classroom. You can imagine. And this is the left side, and this is the right side, and back to center. While I was doing this, I decided to do in-depth research on Leonardo's artwork, and I'll show you some slides. This one shows the original sketch done by Leonardo for the Last Supper. And the bottom one, I rearranged it. Leonardo didn't have enough space, so he kind of continued with the bottom, but the bottom one looks more natural to me. And this much research has been done by many, many, many researchers, so it's not really unique. It's kind of obvious. But this one shows a little hand of one of the disciples. And to me, that hand eventually became the hand of Thomas, kind of obscure place. And because before the restoration, paints were flaking off from the mural, they couldn't see it. And the restorer in the past painted the bread instead of the hand. Research to me is like doing CSI work, and I have a feeling that next life I will be CSI agent. I love it, I watch CSI Miami and Forensic Files, and just in case I get, arrested, I know how to get out of it. And this slide shows you the direct relationship between the original sketch and the final work. And the middle person, you can see almost identical pose he's doing. So Leonardo may have had the clear vision in the beginning. Now I'd like to show you some of my own work based on Leonardo da Vinci, recent work. This is Madonna Lita. Angelos. Angelos is Greek, meaning messenger or angel. Cecilia's heart. While I'm painting, I'm asking questions and doing an imaginary conversation with Leonardo. And I feel the presence, nothing spooky, of Leonardo sometimes. Not all the time, thank God. Next one is called Confirmation. This just confirming that this angel is the same angel as Annunciation. Salvatore Mundi, Isabella d'Este. Well, Isabella d'Este asked Leonardo to paint the portrait, and she kept bugging him. And Leonardo had so many things in his mind, so put off, and eventually he died, so I did it for her. Now, this is called Distant Longing. Mona Lisa is most famous and most difficult to copy. Her mystical, mysterious smile is beyond my ability. Now, when I think of Leonardo's universality, this comes to mind. He used creativity and applied it in every situation almost, whether through engineering or artistic activities, observing the tomato, and he was a master at it. And speaking of mastery, I came up with this. What's important at this is that at the top I placed action, because whatever you do, in order to achieve mastery, you got to begin. You have to do something. You just can't sit around or sleep around. Although I put the rest at the bottom because that is also needed. If you had a hard day, let your subconscious take care of it. Mastery is gradual process, and you have to congratulate yourself constantly. Just like parents looking at the child, and the child is taking a step for the first time in his or her life towards the parents. And the child is taking the risk, and the parents are rejoicing. So you can be a child or you can be a parent put together. And some of you may be thinking that, well, I don't have much of a skill, so this doesn't apply to me. Well, no excuse, because you can master yourself by knowing yourself. And to me, knowing yourself and mastering yourself are interconnected. And also, knowing yourself and knowing the universe is connected. You know why? Because we are microcosmos reflecting macrocosmos. We are interrelated. So I would like to propose that let us eagerly move forward towards our dream to become master of something or master of ourselves. So we will eventually become living universal masterpiece. Thank you.